English podcast.
From Learn English with Joy.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Learn English with Joy. I'm Chris, and I'm so happy you're here with us today. Whether you're listening at home, in the car, or during a walk, thank you for spending time with us. In this podcast, we talk about life, learning, and how to feel better while improving your English. And I have my amazing co-host here with me, as always, Emily.
Hi, everyone. Great to be here again. Today's topic is something many of us think about, maybe every day. Last week, someone left us a comment that really touched my heart. They said, "I feel like I'm not good enough. Everyone around me is better. Better at English, better at life. I try hard, but I still feel behind."
That really hit me too. Because honestly, I've felt the same way before. When we look at other people, it's easy to feel like we're not doing enough.
But today, we want to change the way you think about that. Here's a question for you. What if you stopped comparing yourself to other people and started comparing yourself to the person you were yesterday?
Right. Because you are your real competition. If yesterday you were too shy to say a full sentence in English, and today you tried, that's amazing. If last month you were afraid to speak, and today you joined a conversation, that's real progress.
It doesn't matter how fast other people are moving. What matters is that you are moving, one small step each day. That's how you grow.
So why are we talking about this today? Because when you're learning English, or doing anything new, it's easy to feel lost. You look around and everyone seems better, faster, smarter. But here's the truth. We all learn in different ways, at different speeds, and if you focus on being just a little better than yesterday, you'll go further than you think.
That's what today's episode is about. How to become the best version of yourself, one step at a time. That's what today's episode is about. How to become the best version of yourself, one step at a time.
And to be honest, I haven't always thought this way. I remember a few years ago, I joined an English speaking club. I was excited until I heard the other people talk. They sounded so confident. Their grammar was great. Their pronunciation was smooth. And me? I felt nervous just saying, "How was your weekend?" After one meeting, I went home and told myself, I'll never be that good.
Oh, Chris, I think many of us know that feeling.
Yeah, I forgot something important that day. They were ahead of me. But that didn't mean I was failing. I was just at a different place in my journey.
That reminds me of my time in university. I studied hard, but I always felt like others did better. Some friends always got higher scores. Some had jobs and internships already. Meanwhile, I was still figuring out what I wanted. So instead of feeling proud of my own progress, I felt slow.
That pressure can feel really heavy.
It can. And back then, I didn't understand something simple. We are not all on the same timeline.
Exactly. But why do we compare ourselves to others so much?
Well, it's human nature. We're surrounded by people, online and in real life. We see their photos, their achievements, their progress. And sometimes we think, why am I not there yet?
Yes. It's like we forget that what we're seeing is just the surface. We see the success, but we don't see the struggles, the failures, the slow days.
Right. And in learning, especially learning English, this can be dangerous. Because we stop seeing our own growth. We only see what we're not yet.
In fact, there was a study from an online education platform that showed something shocking.
Really? What did it say?
It found that over 70% of English learners said they often feel discouraged when they compare their skills to others. Even though many of them were actually doing well, they didn't feel good enough, just because someone else seemed better.
That's so real. Sometimes the problem is not what you're doing, it's what you're focusing on.
Let's talk about that for a second. When you constantly compare yourself to others, what really happens?
Start feeling like your own progress doesn't matter. Like, I only learned 3 new words today. That's nothing compared to my friend who watched a full movie without subtitles.
Exactly. You forget that 3 words today could become 90 words in a month. You start feeling behind, slow, or worse, like you're failing.
And that leads to frustration. You might give up too soon thinking, why bother? I'll never be that good anyway. But that thought, that voice, it's not true. It's just comparison talking.
Yes. And comparison, when it's negative, doesn't help you grow. It actually blocks your confidence.
So if you're listening right now and you've ever felt less than because someone else seems better, faster, smarter, please know you're not alone. But also know this, you don't have to stay in that mindset.
Because there's a better way, a kinder, more helpful way. And it begins with changing who you compare yourself to,
Not the person beside you.
but the person you were yesterday. That's who you should compare yourself to. Not your classmate, not someone on YouTube, just you, a day ago.
Exactly. That's the most powerful shift we can make, to stop looking sideways and start looking back. Just a little. Ask yourself, am I better than I was last week? Last month? Because growth doesn't happen in big jumps. It happens in tiny steps. You don't need to be the best. You just need to be better than before.
That reminds me of something personal. When I first started learning English, I had a big fear saying things out loud, especially certain words that felt weird in my mouth.
Oh? Like what?
The word comfortable. I hated it. I could spell it. I could recognize it when I read it. But saying it, I just froze. Every time that word came up, I would either skip it or replace it with nice or cozy, anything easier.
I've been there. Some words just feel tricky.
Yeah, but here's what happened. One day, I decided to practice just that one word. I repeated it slowly, then in a sentence, "This chair is really comfortable." It felt awkward at first, but after a few days, something changed. Not only could I say it, I actually started using it in conversations without fear.
That's huge. Not because it's a big word, but because you overcame something inside yourself.
Exactly. And that's what I mean when I say, compare yourself to the old you. The me from 6 months ago avoided the word. The me today says it with confidence.
And there's something beautiful about that. When we stop chasing perfection and start noticing progress, because comparing with others often makes us feel less than, but comparing with our past selves helps us feel proud.
Right. It builds your confidence slowly. It says, hey, I did something I couldn't do before. That's progress.
And it keeps your motivation strong. You don't get stuck in negative thoughts like, I'm not there yet. Instead, you think, look how far I've come.
And that's a healthier, happier place to grow from.
So how do we notice these small changes? How do we see our own growth?
One way is to keep a simple progress log. Every day or every week, write down one thing you did better than before.
It doesn't have to be big. Maybe you understood a full sentence without subtitles. Maybe you said hello to someone in English. Or maybe you just didn't give up today. And that's a win too.
We call these tiny wins. They may feel small, but they're signs of real progress.
And when you write them down, you can look back later and see how far you've come.
Exactly. Growth becomes visible when you track it, and celebrating those wins gives you energy to keep going.
So let's be clear. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to speak English like a native. You don't need to learn 100 words this week.
You just need to take the next step. Keep moving forward, even if it's slow, even if it's small.
Because every step counts. And if you're growing, even just a little, then you're doing amazing.
You're not failing, you're becoming.
That's such a beautiful reminder. And I think one way to keep becoming is to build small habits. Not big, scary ones, but small habits that help you notice your growth. Let me share one that really changed the way I see myself.
Go for it.
Every evening, before I sleep, I write down one small win. Just one sentence. It could be, I listened to a full podcast episode. Or, I said thank you in English at the coffee shop.
That sounds really simple, and really doable.
Exactly. The idea is not to be perfect. The idea is to catch the good things that already happened. Most days, we only remember what we didn't do. But when you write down something small that you did do, your brain starts to see progress more clearly.
It's like training your brain to look for success.
Yes. And after a week or two, you start to feel like, oh, wow, I am growing. And that feeling gives you energy to keep going.
That's a great one. Here's another habit that works for me. At the end of each day, I ask myself, what improved today? Sometimes the answer is small, like, I didn't use Google Translate for one sentence. Sometimes it's bigger, like, I joined a full group call and spoke up.
That question helps you focus on change, not just result.
Exactly. Instead of saying, I didn't finish my study goals, you say, but I improved my pronunciation of this word. That tiny shift helps me feel more motivated the next day.
And here's one more that I love: gratitude. I take 30 seconds each morning to say, I'm thankful for where I am.
Even if you're not at your goal yet?
Especially then. Being grateful doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means you see the beauty in the journey.
So instead of saying, I'm not fluent yet, you say, I'm thankful I've come this far.
Exactly. Gratitude helps you enjoy the process, and that makes you more likely to keep going.
You know what's amazing about these 3 habits? They're small, but they build something powerful over time.
Yes, they shape your mindset, the way you see yourself and your progress.
When you write small wins, you build confidence. When you ask, what improved today? You train your focus on growth. And when you're grateful, you stay calm, motivated, and kind to yourself.
It's like brushing your teeth. You don't see the result immediately, but after weeks and months, the result is clear.
Exactly. And these habits are the same. Quiet at first, but strong in the long run.
I remember one listener who wrote to us from Indonesia. She said, for 3 months, I wrote down one small win every day. Some days, I only wrote, I listened to a sentence. But after 90 days, I read my list and cried. I didn't realize how far I had come.
That gave me goosebumps. It shows how much we miss if we don't pause to look back. So here's a challenge for you. Starting today, try one of these habits. Maybe write your small win before bed, or ask, what improved today when you brush your teeth? Just one, every day, for a week. And then let us know. How did it feel? What changed? We'd love to hear your story.
Actually, Chris, this reminds me of someone very special. A woman named Hana. She's 62 years old and lives in Japan. She sent us an email last year. She said, I started learning English at 58. I never studied it before. I was afraid to try.
Wow, 58. That's so inspiring already.
Yes. She told me that for a long time, she didn't speak in class. She just listened. She watched English videos quietly. She wrote down words. She practiced alone in her room. But she always felt she was too slow, too old, or not good enough. She almost gave up many times.
That sounds like what a lot of learners feel, even young ones.
Exactly. But here's what happened. After 2 years, she had a chance to join a language exchange event online. She said she was so nervous, her hands were shaking. But then she introduced herself, and she spoke for 3 full minutes in English. She talked about her favorite books, her garden, and even her cat.
I love that.
She wrote, when I finished talking, the teacher smiled and said, that was beautiful. I didn't cry because of the compliment. I cried because I realized I just did something I couldn't do before, and I didn't even notice I had changed.
That gave me chills.
Me too. Sometimes growth is quiet. You don't see it day by day. But one day, something happens and you realize you've changed. You've become stronger.
And those moments stay with you forever. You know, I think we often expect growth to be loud, like, look, I passed the test, or look, I got the certificate. But the real growth?
Yes?
It's often silent. It happens in the quiet practice, in the days when no one is watching, in the moments when you choose not to give up.
That's so true. So if you feel like you're not making progress, please remember, Hannah, you may not see your growth today, but one day soon, you will. That's so true. So if you feel like you're not making progress, please remember, Hannah, you may not see your growth today, but one day soon, you will.
And now, let's take a moment for a gentle vocabulary review. This isn't a test, just a quiet time to go over some of the words we use today, slowly, clearly, and together. Let's start with focus. It means paying full attention to one thing. Here's a line. I try to focus when I study English.
Now gently, I try to focus when I study English. Take your time. Let it land.
Next up, progress. It means moving forward, step by step. Example, I'm proud of my English progress.
Say it with us. I'm proud of my English progress. Even small steps count.
Now let's try authentic. It means being real and true to yourself. Like this, I want to speak more authentically.
Nice. Now repeat. I want to speak more authentically. Be real. Be you.
Next word, grateful. It means feeling thankful for good things. Example, I'm grateful for today's chance to grow.
Say it softly. I'm grateful for today's chance to grow. Let that feeling settle in.
Last one, improvement. It means getting better, even just a bit. Here's a line. One new word a day is improvement.
Let's say it. One new word a day is improvement. Tiny wins matter.
So now, let's slow down and reflect together. I have a question for you, and I'd love for you to really think about it. What's one thing you did better than yesterday? Maybe you spoke a little more clearly. Maybe you listened to English for 5 extra minutes. Maybe you just believed in yourself a little more. Big or small? If it's better than yesterday, it matters. Take a moment. Say it out loud, or just whisper it to yourself. You're doing better than you think.
I have a question too. What's a small win you feel proud of today? It could be learning one new word. It could be not giving up when something felt difficult. It could be listening all the way to this episode. Yes, that's a win too. Sometimes we forget to be proud of the little steps, but those are the ones that build real change. So, what's your small win? Name it. Feel it. Let it remind you that you're already growing. So, wherever you are, walking through the park, resting on your couch, or just sitting quietly with your thoughts, we truly hope today's episode reminded you of something important. Growth doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't need to be dramatic. Sometimes, the most powerful change happens quietly, from the inside out.
Exactly. You don't need to speak perfectly. In fact, perfection isn't the goal. You just need to keep speaking. One word, one sentence, one honest effort at a time. Even if your voice shakes a little, that's still progress. That's still learning.
And remember this, no one becomes fluent overnight. We often see others speaking confidently and think, I could never do that. But what you don't see is the time, the effort, the quiet practice behind it. It's the small, repeated steps that build something strong and lasting.
There's a quote I love by Nelson Mandela. He said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Maybe today, just saying one sentence in English feels difficult, but one day, if you keep going, that same sentence will come out naturally, like breathing.
So don't wait for the perfect moment to start speaking. That moment might never arrive, and it doesn't have to. Your voice today, even with pauses and mistakes, is more than enough. In fact, it's real. And real is powerful.
Every single time you try, you're becoming a better version of yourself, even if it's slow. even if nobody notices, even if you don't fully notice yet. Growth takes time, but it always shows up, little by little.
Before we go, we'd love to leave you with one small challenge. Try saying just one sentence in English today. It doesn't have to be long or complicated. It could be something simple like, I'm learning, or today is a new start.
Say it to yourself in the mirror, whisper it before bed, or write it down and read it out loud. And if you feel ready, share your sentence with us in the comments. We'd love to hear your voice, just as it is, right now.
You're not behind. You're becoming. One word at a time. One step at a time.
Thanks for spending your time with us today. Keep practicing, keep believing. We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep growing in your own way.